It is Thursday, May 29th, 2024 at Protestia Studios, and this is your intelligence briefing coming to you from Protestia.com, where you can go to find all of the latest in Christian polemics and discernment news. Sign up for the Insurgency email blast and head over to patreon.com/Protestia to support us on an ongoing financial level. We would very much appreciate your support if you find polemics and discernment to be an important thing to continue the work of. Let's get into the headlines. First headline at Protestia: Dallas Jenkins, the Chosen, cuts ties with Mormon studio over breach of contract. Dallas Jenkins has announced that he and the Chosen have formally cut ties with Angel Studios, the Mormon media conglomerate that helped create, fund, and distribute the hit TV show, after an arbiter found multiple material breaches of contract on behalf of the studio. The ruling allows the Chosen to terminate their contract with Angel Studios, part ways for good, and manage and distribute the show as they see fit and in a way that is economically sustainable, but will do little to offset other controversies Dallas and the show have been involved in. Take a look at the screen for links that we have put in the article here for our concerns over the past few years with Dallas Jenkins, things that he has said, pride flags showing up on the set of The Chosen, so on and so forth. You can click those links to read if you are unfamiliar with the issues over at Protestia.com. And of course, read the rest of this article talking about the breach in contract determined by the arbiter that has now severed the ties between the Chosen and Angel Studios. We do wonder if perhaps Angel Studios will get involved with the similarly named yet overtly Mormon TV series, The Promised, which we saw pop up on the internet recently, which it looks to have the Chosen in its sights as the next theological dramatization. I wouldn't even call it a biblical dramatization because, well, the Book of Mormon is not the Bible. Let's move on. Next headline at Protestia: Carl Lentz hints at ministry comeback despite long history of sexual deviance and predatory behavior. In November 2020, Carl Lentz was ousted from the pastorate of Hillsong, New York, after it was revealed that he was having an adulterous affair with a New York City-based designer named Reneen Karim. Though his bombshell got him fired, it was only one of many affairs, according to leaked audio from Hillsong leadership, rather than a so-called one-time mistake, which is inexcusable but at least partially understandable. Lentz exemplified predatory sexual behavior for years, including grooming behavior, resulting in several sexual encounters and acts of deviance that he instigated. This was in a 51-page barn burner of a booklet titled Internal Investigation Report Regarding Carl Lentz and Other Matters that was commissioned by Hillsong leadership in 2021. We noted here this was the Instagram post from Carl and Laura Lentz announcing, it looks like if you see down here, the description, June 4, ... new chapter, has 1,116 comments at the point we screenshotted this. Actually, I'm sorry, this is in an embed, so it has 1,116 comments as of this very moment. The post has nearly 11,000 likes and tons of words of encouragement from people such as Transformation Church pastors Tim Ross and William Heckenbach, Voice Church, or is it Voice Church, Rich Wilkerson, Elevation Roanoke's Micah Isaiah, Hillsong Sweden's lead pastor Andreas Nielsen, Chris Cuddy, the worship pastor at Josh Howerton's Lake Point Church, and many others. The overwhelming majority of the comments are filled with words of encouragement for Lentz, urging him to consider returning to ministry. Some even express their hope for him to lead an imagined Transformation Church New York. However, a few have pointed out that he's disqualified from ministry because of his predatory and scandalous behavior. We would obviously agree with that. This is a standard pattern for vision casting, celebrity, type pastors like Carl Lentz, who they get addicted to the fame and the power and the authority, and people looking up to them and worshiping them as little demigods. And, well, they really can't see themselves doing a normal job anymore, and so they weasel their way back into vocational ministry, and, yeah, we'd be very suspicious that that's what will happen in this case, but we'll have to, I guess, wait until June 4th to find out. Next headline at Protestia.com: Woke Church puts on drag bingo to raise money for worship team. This looks like the Metropolitan Community Church of Toronto is what they call themselves. and they describe themselves as a vibrant and progressive church rooted in the Christian tradition and the alphabet community that is, quote, open and welcoming to everyone, and a human rights center that is fiercely committed to social justice. As if anybody would be surprised by that definition, led by non-binary pastor Reverend Deanna Dudley and a, quote, transgendered woman named Junia Joplin, as well as a cadre of 3 pronounced assistants, as you can see on the screen here. They run the joint with the full blessing of Satan, who has most assuredly taken up residence in the hearts and in the minds of the congregation. So you have this person here who is described as she, her, they, them, and this person over here described as they, them, she plus he. That's a new one as far as I can tell. In fact, we recently featured Dudley, the leader of the church, in a very bizarre bathroom video where she seems to lecture Canadians on not wanting biological men in women's bathrooms and the opposite. Let's take a look here if you haven't seen this.
Hey, Pierre Polyev, I've got some things that I want to say to you, but first I need to pop into the washroom. Oh, you're coming too? Well, that's fine, because here at the Metropolitan Community Church of Toronto, we have all-gender washrooms, which are a terrific idea because, as you well know, everybody has to pee sometime. But you made some horrible statements recently that if you were Prime Minister, you'd introduce legislation to, among other things, bar transgender women from using the washroom that's appropriate and safe.
Transgender women are men, by the way, of course.
Pierre, there is no room for discrimination and hate in sport.
I'm sorry, I got to stop this and point this out. You notice when someone says there's no room for discrimination and hate and blah. Well, what are they doing? Well, they're discriminating, right? She seems like she's angry, potentially angry about this. So tolerance is not actually tolerance. It's just a code word for we want to tolerate this that we believe and not what you believe. And in fact, what we believe is not only rebellious against God, it's rebellious against God's revelation in nature as well, which, by the way, is why they're so angry and intolerant about those of us that say we don't want biological men in women's bathrooms.
In change rooms, in washrooms. And what you said is nothing more than political bullying. And bullying puts vulnerable trans youth at the risk of violence and even...
Quit bullying us. Seriously. Like, quit lecturing us on the hateful things we're saying. I feel bullied right now. I mean, you're bullying me by saying that my belief about keeping biological men and women in different bathrooms is wrong. I feel bullied right now.
Death. Your comments are just a cynical attempt to rile up your conservative base with look over there politics to distract the Canadian electorate from all the things.
I can't believe they flushed the toilet on this. Like, if they actually flushed the toilet on this video, that's pretty funny.
That you're not doing, because checking people's junk before they can enter a washroom is apparently more important to you than working on things like...
Yeah, I have to say that it is. I mean, before a quote-unquote transgender woman, a biological male, goes into the bathroom with young girls and women, yeah, I don't have a problem with that being a legal restriction.
Oh, I don't know.
Housing, inflation, poverty,
human rights,
healthcare,
climate change.
And of course, they give the who's who, or the standard boilerplate list of leftist causes. And if you look at the kids that she has dragged into the bathroom to put on this video, they don't look very happy to be there. They don't really happy to be used in this way.
What they said.
Yeah, what they said, right. What they seemed like they were forced to say. Look at the... I couldn't help but notice the look on the girl's face here to the left. She's like... She clearly not wanting to be involved in this as far as we can tell. But you can go over to protestia.com to watch the rest of that video. Head over to Protestia's X Twitter account and take a look for yourself and decide if you think my interpretation of what's going on here is correct. In any case, the Canadians are really beating us out for comical wokeness, I think, at this point in churches. Last headline at protestia.com, Pope apologizes for slur, which I can't say out loud because it'll get this video pulled probably off of the social media platforms it will wind up on. Pope Francis issues, and we hinted at this yesterday, but he issues a rare apology after reports emerged accusing the spiritually bankrupt and Marxist pontiff, our words of course, of using the term you see on the screen here to refer to gay people wanting to enter Roman Catholic seminaries. Matteo Bruni, the press office director for the Holy See, shared Pope Francis is aware of articles that recently came out about a conversation behind closed doors. The Pope never intended to offend or express himself in homophobic terms. He extends his apologies to those who were offended by the use of the term reported by others. I like how the blame gets thrown on other people. It's like, well, number one, what he said is probably true. It's probably true. But then to say, well, it's not really a problem he said, it's a problem that other people reported it. Again, we predicted that an apology would be forthcoming, and here it is, brought to you by Protestia.com. Go over to Protestia to read all of the latest in Christian polemics and discernment news. Thank you very much for joining me for this episode of the Intelligence Briefing for May 30th, 2024. Stay tuned to Protestia for all of your latest. We'll see you again next time. As always, Semper Reformanda.